Good evening and welcome to the Camnet News. The headlines: Japan never donated bicycles, but India, we are sorry. Government. COVID-19 cancels agriculture and commercial show. Government says bars remain closed. In international news, Kenya's president's staff test positive for COVID-19. And in sports news, Patson Daka scores again. My name is Banda Tandiwe. Do join me again with more news stories after this break.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crisp, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Banda Tandiwe. Let's take a look at some of the stories that are making headlines. The Zambian government, through the Ministry of Home Affairs, has apologized to the Japanese government for erroneously referring to it as a country behind the controversial donated police bicycles. Home Affairs Permanent Secretary Chileshe Mulenga has meanwhile announced that the right country which donated the bicycles is India and not Japan, as earlier announced. Mr. Mulenga explains that the police bicycles, 30 in total, were donated on the 14th of August 2019. Mr. Mulenga additionally explained that the Zambia Police Service received 100 bicycles, which were part of a larger supply contract to the ministry consisting of motor vehicles, boats, uniforms, bicycles, camping, and heavy agricultural equipment.
The ministry wishes to clarify the details regarding the donation of bicycles made to the Zambia Police Service. The public should be informed that on 14th August 2019, the Indian High Commission in Lusaka made a donation of 30 bicycles to the Zambia Police Service at a ceremony officiated by His Excellency, the High Commissioner of India to Zambia. In addition, the Zambia Police Service received 100 bicycles, which are a part of a larger supply contract to the Ministry of Home Affairs, consisting of motor vehicles, boats, uniforms, and camping equipment and heavy agricultural equipment. The bicycles, the 100 bicycles, are part of the camping equipment. The ministry wishes to apologize for the erroneous reference to the government of Japan as the donor of the 30 bicycles which were donated by the Indian High Commission.
The civil society organizations, CSOs, consisting of GEAS, ActionAid, Caritas Zambia and Alliance for Community Action, have reasserted their position in decampaign of the controversial Constitution Amendment Bill number 10. Speaking on behalf of the quartet, Alliance for Community Action Executive Director Laura Miti says the bill is aimed at weakening the Zambian democracy as it is laced with dishonesty. Ms. Miti explains that if indeed the Zambian government wants to address the lacunas in the current constitution, all is needed to do is simply state exactly what articles needed changes as opposed to overhauling the entire constitution. She accuses the PF-led government of creating unnecessary constitutional confusion going by the manner in which it is handling the process. Ms. Miti has appealed to lawmakers to shoot down the bill once it comes for seconding reading on the floor of the House this week.
Following the publication of the proposed changes to the bill, as provided by the Minister to our partner organizations that attended the press conference, the CSOs represented here carried out a preliminary review of the proposed changes, reading the shared document against the original Bill 10, the recommendations of the Select Committee, as well as the 2016 amendment of the Constitution. Our study of the document unfortunately revealed that the Minister was not being honest with the public on both the intentions and the content of the proposed changes to Bill 10. Our reading of the draft changes has sadly found that they maintain the unstated objective of Bill 10, which is to weaken Zambia's democracy and its vital institutions, especially Parliament. It is particularly disturbing to note that the proposed changes include new clauses which were not part of the original Bill 10 or the Select Committee resolutions. Many of these new changes are detrimental to democracy beyond the harm already proposed in Bill 10. We will only cite a few examples. On Parliament, the Minister makes the following changes that were not proposed by the Parliamentary Select Committee. Article 47 is amended to allow Parliament to prescribe how the mixed member electoral system will be implemented. That is to say, Parliament will decide how it will itself be elected and operate. On this, the Parliamentary Select Committee recommended that the mixed member system be indeed adopted for election to the National Assembly, but emphasized that this mixed member electoral system should be clearly defined in the Constitution and not an act of Parliament, as the Minister of Justice proposes.
Meanwhile, some youths calling themselves authentic UPND advocates on Monday morning failed to present a petition to UPND President Hakainde Hichilema that was aimed at urging him and ordered party MPs to support Bill number 10. The youths, who were under full police escort, later proceeded to Parliament to hand over the petition to UPND MPs but bounced and ended up serving it on the ruling and other opposition members of Parliament. UPND Sananga Member of Parliament Mulowa Mukumbota was among the MPs who received the petition the youths presented. The youths have urged the lawmaker to put Zambia first when voting for the bill. According to them, most of the clauses in the bill are progressive and need the support of everyone. More details in this report.
Since the approach to the opening of Parliament, there has been tensions of opinions as most political parties and civil organizations resume their misgivings on the issue of Bill 10. Earlier today, alleged UPND youths gathered at Parliament premises and made petitions to UPND Party President Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to consider his support for Bill 10.
UPND Youth's petition HH on Bill 10. Mr. President, we stand here as representatives of young people from the United Party for National Development, drawn from all across the country and across various sections of society, and of course personally for Kafio, because I have come to submit the petition we did against our area MP, Miriam Chona. Sir, our task here today is simple reading. Sir, you will agree with us that we have stood by you and the UPND as party through thick and thin over the last 5 elections. Sir, as young people, we believe that at time has come for you as our leader to incorporate our views and take them seriously into consideration as part of the national building agenda for Zambia. This is because we are the future leaders of this great nation and we should be seen as such.
Meanwhile, when contacted for a comment, UPND Deputy Youth Chairman for Politics, Gilbert Swaniso, refuted the claim of any UPND youth petitioning Mr. Hichilema over Bill 10 and further called Bill 10 as being evil.
There is no UPND youths across the country who have petitioned Mr. Hakainde because of the Bill 10 or the evil Bill 10. In that Bill 10 number 1, there is not even an employment for the young people. In that Bill 10. And for us, those chaps or those idiots from the PF came here. They failed to come and petition. Even the UPND youths would have come and petition. They were even escorted by the police. They failed to give us the same petition. If really a UPND member, why should they fear? But because these are the same like what happened last time, that you go, you get ordinary citizens, all the people, no, let's go and petition. And I want to put an warning. If you are youths, you want to be used, you come anyhow near the UPN, they show you. Then collectively, all of us, we are standing with the people of Zambia. No Bill 10. Bill 10 is an evil document. Bill 10, it is an evil document for PF and Edgar Chagwalongo.
Reporting for Camnet TV News, Tennyson Kaunda II, Lusaka.
And in other news, the Agriculture and Commercial Society of Zambia has cancelled the 2020 Agriculture Commercial Show Due to disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, Society President Cosmas Michelo has announced that it is difficult for the society to effectively adhere to the set health guidelines by government if the event is to be successfully held as per tradition, considering that the event attracts multitudes of people. Mr. Michelo explains that the decision to cancel the annual event is in the best interest of the Zambian people. This year's show was slated for 29th July to the 3rd of August 2020 under the theme Innovation Through Technology. More in this report.
Government has implemented several multi-sectoral measures to fight the global pandemic caused by the coronavirus, also known as the COVID-19. In this regard, the Agriculture and Commercial Society of Zambia has announced the cancellation of the 2020 Agriculture and Commercial Show in the interest of ensuring that exhibitors, stakeholders, and the general public are safe.
The Agriculture and the Commercial Society of Zambia regrets to announce the cancellation or postponement of the 2020 Agriculture and Commercial Show due to the prevailing global pandemic caused by the coronavirus, or commonly known as COVID-19. This has been a very painful decision for the board and myself in particular, but it is in the interest of our exhibitors, shareholders, and the general public.
The show, which normally takes 6 months of preparations, has already lost 3 months so far in the year 2020. This year's show was slated for 29th of July to 3rd of August 2020 under the theme Innovation Through Technology.
This year's show was slated for 29th of July to 30th August under the theme Innovation Through Technology.
Agriculture and Commercial Society of Zambia SEZ President Cosmas Michelo says the decision has been very painful but worth it, as they believed that the safety of the show goers cannot be guaranteed. However, as unusual as this can be, the year 2020 will go down in history along with the year 1941 to 1944, the years when the show was not held.
The year 2020 will go down in history along with the 1941 and 1944 as the years when the show was not held.
Mr. Michelo has further announced that the SESZ Secretariat remains operational and will proceed with the planning arrangements for the year 2021 Agricultural and Commercial Show. Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwinga Mwinga.
The COVID-19 pandemic has pushed Zambia's private sector into the worst constriction in 5 years. The latest Stanbic Bank Market Purchasing Managers Index has shown. The headline PMI tumbled to a new record of low of 34.8 in May from the previous 37.3 posted in April, indicating a severe deterioration in the health of free enterprise in the country due to the pandemic. Stanbic Bank head of global markets Victor Chileshe says the May PMI indicates that businesses in Zambia's private sector suffered the worst conditions since the survey began in March 2015. More in this report.
The Purchasing Managers Index dataset features a headline number which indicates the overall health of an economy and sub-indices which provides insight into other key economic drivers such as the country's GDP, inflation, exports, capacity utilization, employment, and other inventories. Purchasing Managers Index reading above 50 signals an improvement in business conditions of the country, while readings below 50 shows a deterioration. The Stanbic Bank Zambia Marketing Purchasers Index has shown that the business activities decreased for the 15th consecutive month in May 2020, with the rate of contraction escalating to a new survey record. This means Zambian businesses are gasping for breath while grappling with the effort of the COVID-19 in a chronologically constricted environment.
The downturn in the Zambian private sector caused by the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic intensified during May. Business conditions deteriorated to the greatest extent since the survey began in March 2015, amid a lack of customers, temporary company closures, job cuts, and inventory reductions. In fact, all 12 sub-indices covered by the survey hit new lows in the latest period. The headline PMI dropped to 34.8 in May from a previous record low of 37.3 posted in April. The reading signaled a severe deterioration in the health of the Zambian private sector. Business activity decreased for the 15th successive month in May, with a rate of contraction accelerating to a new survey record. The COVID-19 pandemic was widely blamed for the reduction, with respondents often reporting having been closed during the month.
Prudence Chota for Camnet TV in Lusaka.
And in other news, Zambia has recorded a COVID-19 related death. Minister of Health Chitalu Chilufya has announced. Dr. Chitalu has announced that one death has been recorded from Western Province, bringing the total number of COVID-19 related deaths to 11. Speaking during the routine COVID-19 updates on Monday morning, the minister said the country has recorded 182 new COVID cases in the last 7 days out of 1,275 tests conducted during the same period, whilst 154 patients have been discharged from various isolation centers. Meanwhile, Nakonde has continued to be the epicenter of the disease despite the reduction in the number of recorded cases.
In the last 7 days, we have recorded 182 new cases of COVID-19 out of a total of 9,275 tests. Western Province has recorded its first 9 cases. The new cases broken down include 26 community members. That is 22 out of Nakonde, 2 out of Chingola, 1 in Chilabombwe, and 1 in Sengahill. Again, 17 were non-contacts. From Lusaka, that was 13, and from Kafue, that was 3, and Kalulushi, 1. We did record 2 cases of health workers in Ndola, and 36 were recorded out of the facility-based surveillance routine screening, and these included 20 from Lusaka, 6 from Mondola, 5 from Mongo, Kaoma 2, Senanga 1, Sesheke 1, Chingola 1. And at our point of entry at the KK International Airport, 3. Out of the mass screening that we conducted in various parts of the country, particularly Chilawombe, Kitwe, Lusaka, we got 54. And 44 truck drivers from Nakonde, Livingstone, Chilawombe, and Chirundu. It is also unfortunate that out of the 9 cases that we got from Western Province, 1 died. So the deceased, who died in Lewanika General Hospital, had an underlying medical condition, and the sample collected during the routine review did test positive to COVID-19. A total of 154 patients from our isolation facilities have been discharged in the last 7 days. Therefore, that brings the total number of cases countrywide to date to 1,382 out of the 45,248 tests conducted so far.
You are still watching the Camnet main news with Banda Tandiwe. We do take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we return with more news stories.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You've heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance. but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. The Ministry of Local Government has warned bar owners disregarding government directive to have their bars closed in the view of COVID-19 pandemic. Local Government and Housing Minister Charles Banda states that government has not given a go-ahead to bar owners to resume operations, warning that anyone found breaking the law will be dealt with. The minister has since urged bar owners that consultations have continued over the matter, adding that the outcome of those consultations will be communicated in due course.
We have come up with the recommendations, very exhaustive indeed, which so far we have already presented to His Excellency the President, who I want to say will be addressing the nation shortly. And I want to believe that within this week, His Excellency the President may address the nation. And part of the issues that he may discuss, and we believe that it will be one of them, is the issue of reopening of bars and nightclubs. Government is allowing anybody an advantage over the other. It's just because of certain people who do not adhere to rules and regulations and instructions. And it's unfortunate that you find that even amongst ourselves who are supposed to be helping the situation, we are having the association like the Bar Owners Association now challenging the head of state, who has the responsibility to ensure that he is safeguarding the lives of the people of this country. We are doing this for the good of the people of the country. Laws don't segregate. Those who are saying that foreigners are being favored, read the Zambia Daily Mail of yesterday. I want to commend the Zambia Daily Mail on one thing that they did to go around the compounds after they heard that certain bars were operating in the compounds. And they found that it was true. Bars were operating in Kawata, bars were operating in Matero, bars were operating in Chirenje, Cheston and so forth. Those bars are not owned by any foreigner. But because of some of our colleagues who have learned the word for the first time in the dictionary, foreign investment, and they are trying to memorize it so that they can be using it time and again, they have even forgotten to balance up the story, to go and look at what is happening in the compounds where the Zambians are operating from. Why haven't they?
And in other news, Opposition United Party for National Development, UPND Legal Counsel, who at the same time is Monza Central Member of Parliament, Jack Mwembu, says the purported gazetting of Bill number 10 is illegal and a breach of parliamentary procedures. Mr. Mwembu, who is also the leader of the opposition in Parliament, has meanwhile asked Justice Minister Given Luvinda to stop misleading Zambians on the constitution amendment process, saying what government is doing is simply twisting. Mr. Mwembu, on the other hand, has advised Zambians to ignore Mr. Luvinda's statements regarding Bill 10, saying it's nothing but a document that is aimed at perpetuating the PF's stay in power. More details in this report.
Then his experience is very flawed. Because I, as I'm speaking now, I'm relying on the standing orders of the House. I've informed you that amendments can only be made at committee stage. You cannot move any amendment before committee stage.
United Party for National Development Monza Member of Parliament Jack Mwembu has responded to the purported gazetting of the amendment of Bill number 10, which is being championed by Justice Minister Honorable Given Luvinda. UPND says the purported gazetting of the amendment of Bill number 10 is illegal and a breach of parliamentary procedures. Jack Mwembu says the intention of this by Justice Minister Given Luvinda is to mislead Zambian citizens that parliamentary processes allow for a bill that is before the House to be amended in a manner that it is proposed in the Gazette.
Of all members of Parliament, 2/3 of all members of Parliament, this has not happened. We are meant to understand that this bill will be coming tomorrow for second reading. And very likely, this bill will not go through. So at what point did he get the authority to make an amendment? We have no doubt in our minds that the intention is to muzzle the deliberations by members of the public on this very important issue and mislead the public that Bill number 10 has been amended.
However, Honorable Jack Mwimbu further called on the general public not to be easily misled by Justice Minister Given Lubinda. Constance Mwemba, reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, a consortium of pastors calling itself National Clergy Consultative Forum has passionately advocated for Bill 10 to go through. Forum Vice Publicity Secretary Gibson Nyirenda says withdrawing the bill at this stage is counterproductive, reckless, and a waste of national resources. Our reporter, Constance Mwemba, now brings us back this report.
So much talk has been hovering around the amendment of the Constitution, which is Bill number 10. Some opposition political parties, such as the National Democratic Congress Party (NDC) and the Opposition United Party for National Development (UPND), have strongly campaigned against the passing of Bill number 10. Now, the NCCF, a consortium of clergy, has reaffirmed its strongest commitment in supporting the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019. To take you back, in September 2019, most stakeholders, including the church across the country, participated and made submissions to the Parliamentary Select Committee on the Constitution Amendment Process Bill 10. Key to the clergy, among other submissions, was the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation, morality and ethics that the clergy believes will form a foundation for the national identity and character. Now, addressing the media today, the 15th of June 2020, the NCCF, a consortium of the clergy, he says it will fully support the bill and has welcomed the Select Committee recommendations. Reverend Gibson Nyirenda, who is Vice Publicity Secretary, says withdrawing the bill at this stage is counterproductive and reckless.
The clergy also submitted on other contentious issues. We would therefore like to reaffirm our strongest commitment in supporting the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019, following government's commitment to heed people's views by welcoming the Select Committee recommendations as seen in the signing a gazette to accommodate the said recommendations from the report by the Select Committee. This further gives assurance to all stakeholders and well-meaning Zambians that this government is committed to see to it that the amendment of the Constitution is done with transparency and in a consultative manner aimed at meeting the aspirations of the majority Zambians.
The Reverend also added that the bill is a sign that government is committed to see to it that the amendment of the Constitution is done with transparency. Constance Mwemba, reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
And in other news, government says it is still investigating the gassing incidents which stunned the nation a few months ago. Home Affairs Permanent Secretary Chileshe Mulenga, responding to a question raised by Camnet reporter Namwinga Mwinga on when government will avail to the nation with a report on the gassing incidents, said government will do so as soon as investigations are concluded. Mr. Mulenga has further asked Zambians to remain patient on the matter, assuring them that government is on top of things. It is now over 5 months since the gassing incidents began and ended, but no one has been linked to the incident till now. On Sunday, UPND Chairman for Mines Percy Chanda urged the government to avail to the nation with details regarding to the gassing incidents, considering that those in the ruling party were accusing the opposition of being behind the incidents, while those in the opposition also accused the ruling party of masterminding the incidents.
The mystery behind gassing of homes in Zambia remains unresolved. Several speculations had revolved around this incident where members of the public began suspecting witchcraft. This issue of spraying of people's homes and public institutions with chemicals instilled fear and security uncertainty, leading to the death of innocent souls and mere suspects. The government then assured the nation of initiating investigations to bring the culprits to book. However, it's now been over 5 months since such hope was being showered upon the Zambians, yet to date, no report has been issued. When asked for a comment, Home Affairs Permanent Secretary Chileshe Mulenga expresses ignorance on the matter, as this is what he says.
Unfortunately, this was called to clarify the matter relating to the donation of bicycles to the Zambia Police Service. I wish you had warned me in advance. I could have prepared for that question. But you didn't. I would have to ask the people involved in the investigation to find out the status. But I'm sure as soon as we have a report, we shall make the information available to members of the public. I've taken note.
As of now, people are still waiting for the report from the Able Ministry. Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwinga Mwinga.
You're still watching the Camnet main news with Banda Tandi, where we do take our last set of commercials and do return with more news stories.
Dr. Bigron, musa ibala komunti enda ukuni gift na land. Uchenkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Oh! Mwina moshi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesi gear na mawaipa.
Difficult, chidi ashiria njinga. Liam 19 pendefcon. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a camera, difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Indemami! Powerful system ndimba ndimba. X-Buzz.
Mufumine kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utole noleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose nshichinshi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
To increase sales of your products and services, advertise on Camnet TV. Reach your clients and target markets directly and see your business grow. For special rates, you can contact our marketing department on
0955 664 305 or 0978 290 626. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. 4 staff members working in the office of Kenya's President, Uhuru Kenyatta, have tested positive for coronavirus, a statement from the presidency says. All 4 have been referred to a nearby hospital for treatments, it adds. All staff, including the president and his family, are tested on a regular basis. But to ensure that the spread is contained, there will now be extra access protocols for those staff members who live outside State House. Kenya currently has more than 3,000 confirmed cases of the virus, and more than 80 people have died after catching COVID-19. And in our sports news, Red Hot Salzburg striker Patson Daka stayed true to form by adding another goal to his tally as his side recorded an emphatic 3-1 win over Lask in the Austrian Bundesliga. Daka played 84 minutes while his compatriot Enoch Mwepu put in a full shift as the duo continued to shine on their European expedition. There was no place for Emmanuel Banda, who was not named in the match day squad. This was according to a statement on the Football Association of Zambia official page. That sports news story brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Japan never donated bicycles, but India, we are sorry, government. COVID-19 cancels agriculture and commercial show. Government says bars remain closed. In international news, Kenya's president's staff tests positive for COVID-19. And in sports, Patson Daka scores again. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 7, and it reads, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." Always remember to mask up, stay home, maintain social distancing in the fight against COVID-19. Thank you so much for joining me on the Camnet Main News. My name is Bandet Handiwe. Pleasant viewing and God bless you.